This is your homegirl, Arabia Babusa. Now I'm forward to the county of New York. We are in the motherfucking house. We're doing this video real close. Real close. Real close. I'm doing it very simply for all these pastors and all these other bishops and reverends and deacons. I'm going to let y'all know y'all full of corruption. You're full of shit. You take bribe money every year. Every time a candidate comes for some kind of voting, some kind of election, these churches take money. And I know about the money, what they do, because I was living in New York as a child. And I watched the churches around me take money from corrupt politicians, corrupt police departments, different organizations in that town, in that city, in that state take corruption money. They take bribe money. We got motherfuckers sitting on the bench right now. Clarence Thomas, whatever the fuck his name is, Supreme Court judge, he takes bribes all the time. So if he takes bribes, that means that prosecutors are taking bribes, other judges are taking bribes, certain people in certain situations, certain levels of society, they take bribes. Take bribes. Wow. And I'm not lying about this shit. Them church pastors, the reverends, the bishops, the deacons, all of them need to be exposed. All of them. Wasn't they the ones that told the people a couple of years in New York, in certain parts of New York, especially Mount Vernon, right there on 3rd Street? You had the pimps out there. You had the prostitution people out there. You know, you had the drug dealers out there. You had the drug dealer robbers out there. 3rd Street and Mount Vernon, New York was on fire. And not only 3rd Street and Mount Vernon, New York was on fire, but Yonkers was on fire at that time. Other places in Westchester County, New York, was on fire at that time. And guess who sponsored most of these bullshit things that's going on in the fucking street and the fucking world? Martin Luther King should have been the last of the last. He marched in the civil rights movement. He did this, he did that. But the man was corrupt. The man was sleeping with other women. Don't you remember that young woman that attacked Martin Luther King a couple of years ago? Stabbed him in his chest? Who's to say that wasn't one of his lovers? Who's to say? Malcolm X was not a cheat on his wife. He didn't cheat on his wife. Nelson Mandela didn't cheat on his wife. But Martin Luther King and those other Southern Baptist preachers, the Protestant preachers of the black church, they cheat on their wives. Yes, they do. A lot of you don't know that. A lot of you are afraid. You're afraid of the fucking truth about the fucking black church. I'm going to tell you something right now. The black church need to suck a bag of dicks before they talk about the LGBTQ community. Before you talk about us, suck a bag of dicks. And what I mean by that, pay your fucking taxes. Pay what you owe. Because a lot of you pastors, reverends, bishops, you hire people to come in and fix up your church. You hire people to do this and that, but you don't pay them the right money. There was one church in Mount Vernon, New York. They had a shelter up there, not too far from the church. Don't you know that it was not a shelter, but it was an apartment complex? Don't you know it was a bunch of prostitution going on there? And the pastor knew. The pastor didn't do nothing about it. The people in the community knew. They didn't do nothing about it. The small churches knew. The big churches knew. This is why I don't respect the church. And there's another reason why I don't respect the church. Because back in the day, when the church was trying to get new members in, don't you know how many voodoo and hoodoo and Santeria practitioners was in the church? And when the church service got over with, those practitioners came into the church. They did readings for certain church members, and you had to pay a certain amount of money, because my great-grandmother's mother was a part of that. Oh, she was making her money. She was making her money for taking you niggas. Drop shot, no name, drag nasty, bitch ass niggas sitting in the fucking pulpit, pimps. Let me tell you something. When I walked on Tuesday morning to get back to my house, I had to walk from and Ronald Jones, you know, I had to walk from Remont Road all the way back to the Macon. Shout out to the chat. I had to walk back into the neighborhood I live in. That was almost a 2-hour walk. But thank God I had my waist trainer on. I was up for the challenge. I was up for it, and I don't give a fuck what nobody say about me. Arabia Barbosa, you can suck 10 dicks in one bag and talk about me all you want. I don't give a fuck. Don't nobody go after the homosexual community, the gay community. When I got thrown out of the heterosexual community, I went to the gay community. I was there for years, over 20 years, and still there to this day. And when I get ready, I fuck with men's. When I get ready, I fuck with women's. But nobody lives here. I don't tell nobody where I live. I go wherever I want to go. Do whatever I want to do. Work whatever job I want to work. Make the money I want to. I'm good. 51 years old. I'm not going to let nobody stop me. Nobody stops Arabia Barbosa. You try to stop me at 9 years old. You try to stop me at 2 years old. You try to stop me at 14. You try to stop me as I was in my early 20s. I will never be stopped. And I'm going to talk about this church corruption, what's going on. I might not talk about it in this video right now, but I'm letting you know they are part of all the bullshit. And when it comes close to election time, voting in certain members of Congress, president, Supreme Court judges, family court judges, whatever it is, I'm going to speak against the church. I'm going to speak against them. I'm going to tell what kind of bribe money they get, how much they get, who is getting what. Oh yeah, I'm going to start releasing all the truth. all the truth. That's why they want Whitney Houston dead. That's why those motherfuckers wanted Whitney Houston dead, because Whitney Houston would have revealed more. Michael Jackson revealed. Prince revealed. Different other celebrities. They was not on the side of this vice president. This vice president Harris. I call her Cunt Harris. Cunt Harris. Ain't no vice president, you dumbass bitch. You trying to claim the black community, but in the back of your mind, you're not black. Didn't your father reveal to Judge Joe Brown that you don't have a drop of black blood in your veins? You got Eastern Indian, but we all know where the Eastern Indian come from, because the Eastern Indian is a part of the black nation. Whether anybody knows it or not, there are 16 shades of black. 16 shades of black. 16 shades. Y'all better read up on what Dr. Yakub did. And I believe the Dr. Yakub theory from the Nation of Islam. I don't practice Islam. I don't practice Protestant church stuff, but I got a Bible in my fucking house that Birdman gave me 3 years ago. He said, baby, go into that Bible. Read that Bible a little bit. Only thing, when I open up that Bible, I see spells. I see spells. How to get rid of my enemies. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Hey, Crips and Bloods. Thank you for coming in. I don't know who you are, but thank you for coming in. And thank you for supporting this channel. I don't know how you be finding me. I don't know how these people be finding me. But I be all over these YouTube streets. I don't go into certain sectors. This is the sector I'm a part of. I was under Tommy Sotomayor from 2013 all went to 2021. Tommy Sotomayor never told us not to think for ourselves. He said, you got your own mind, you got your own life, you're living in your own house, do what the fuck you want to do, and don't nobody stop you. Don't let nobody stop you. I was starting to get weak Tuesday morning. I left out of there and I saw some bricks outside the place. Usually, when you're angry with someone, when you lose control and you can't get to them certain ways, you take them bricks and you throw them. You throw them as hard as you can, as fast as you can. That's what I was thinking about that morning. But something told me, don't think about that. Walk back to your destination. My back was hurting. My lower back was hurting. But I said, I'm not going to let these pains stop me. And I had to walk from Remont Road, South Carolina. Remont Road is located in North Charleston, South Carolina. And I had to walk back to the Macon. I had to walk back to where I live. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. But I'm going to be who I am. I'm not going to let nobody stop me. Nobody at all. People say, well, maybe you need to, slow down or nah. We got a bunch of young people coming out of the penitentiary right now, and they are on parole They're on some kind of probation. See, I don't know how that works because I was never on parole. I was never on probation. I committed my crime in 1994, got convicted of it in 1995. So that meant that they had to hold me in that county jail. They had to hold me. They put a hold on your home girl, Arabia Barbosa. I am the original BT 1000. I tell all my subscribers, new and old, I am the original BT 1000. And I was not born, I was fucking created. But thank God I don't do what I used to do back in the day. Because if I was younger, a brick would have went through that fucking window and all kind of hell would have broke loose and that fucking shit the other day. But I said, nah, I'm older now. I got myself to think about and I got people that love me. I said, let me walk. And I walked my black ass back to my fucking house. No money in my fucking pocket. I had to go the next day to get the money. Then they called me this morning. I don't have to go there. It's not my regular job. My job is to tell my story. That's my job. But I'm going to keep exposing about the church and how they really get down. The black church, especially. How dare you become Christians during slavery? How dare you become Christians during Jim Crow? All of you should have ran to the Nation of Islam. You should have ran to other religions other than the Roman Catholic Church and the Protestant Church, because they didn't accept you. And you know it, and I know it. They did not accept your black asses, your black skin. They didn't accept you. Your thick lips, your wide nose, your kinky hair. You know why they didn't accept you? Because you created them. You created this problem, black people. Go back into the Nation of Islam books and read about the Yaqub, the Dr. Yaqub. Read about it. Read about Dr. Shabazz. Them two scientists, way before our time. I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam. No, I'm not. My mother was. One of my brothers became a 5%er years ago. Years ago. He would try to protect himself and his children. And guess what? They are protected. The hypocrites, those that didn't follow the rules, their families were wiped out. Unfortunately, it included some of my people a couple of years ago. I had to sit through those fucking funerals. I'm not sitting through no more funerals but my own. I am Arabia Barbosa, the original BT 1000, aka the Jeeper Creeper on this shit, aka Lucy the Vampire, aka the German Shepherd in the goddamn motherfucking room. And I'm gonna be who I am. I'm gonna be who the fuck I am until the end of my days. And I already know I'm gonna die alone. Alone. But at least I know that. because I planned it from the day I was 9 years old. 9 years old. 9-year-old child making decisions that would run from the rest of the life. Not from 9 years old into my teenage years, 20s, 30s, 40s. Now I'm 51. It's too late to make a change. It's too late to turn back. I refuse to turn back. It's too much been happening. Y'all don't know what happens. If I close my eyes, and don't open them no more, and don't breathe no more, I'm good. But as long as I can open up these fucking eyelids and breathe and go out there and get my money and get on the bus, get into a taxi cab, get into Uber, go wherever I want to go, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to let nobody stop me. But I'm going to tell you something. Those black churches, those Protestant black churches are corrupt. They take bribes. They take money from people that are sitting in their congregation. They take advantage of these people. They use these people. They use these people pain. They send those young girls out, young boys out. What? Not to prophesize for the church or for God, but they send them out there to be prostitutes. They're sex trafficking these children. They've been doing it for years. I'm the only one right now on YouTube, on this sector of YouTube, might be able to expose some of this. When I was growing up in New York, and I was living in Mount Vernon, New York at a certain time in my life, I remember going to William H. Homeschool. It was William H. Homeschool right there in Mount Vernon, New York, right there on Columbus. Not too far from Lincoln Avenue, not too far from anything. And there were people kidnapping the children from those schools, those public schools that was in that area in Mount Vernon. Not only was they collecting public school children from Mount Vernon, they was collecting them from New Rochelle, they was collecting them from Pelham, they was collecting them from White Plains, New York, they was collecting them from Portchester, they was collecting them from the city. Those children were never found as children. Some of them became adults. And when I see a big house where they have an attic, where they have a basement, that is a torture. That is a torture room, a torture chamber for some of these people. Y'all better go and find out what's going on, because it's bigger and deeper. And one of my homegirls, Baltimore, she tried to tell me, she said, Arabia, don't be on social media, don't talk. I gotta talk the truth. I gotta talk it. She might be scary to talk about it. She's a little bit older than me, but I gotta tell the truth. I gotta do it. She was here in South Carolina. She gone now. She went to another state. I might never hear from her again. It doesn't matter anymore, because I lose a lot of my female friends. My closest female friends usually get killed or disappear somewhere or become someone else. A lot of the women, they don't get killed off. If they don't get killed off, they become someone else. They take on another identity. That's what they do. That's what they do. Shout out to the chat. I'm talking about my real life. How I feel about the fucking church, and how I feel how the church is destroying the black community. You build divisions. You get involved with bullshit you don't need to get involved with. You want to get involved with politics? Pay the taxes. Just like Walmart pays the taxes, the NFL pays the taxes of the NBA. The church got more money than the NBA and the NFL. You know why? Because a lot of their members are in the NBA and NFL and other professional sports. The church got their hands everywhere. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. But there are some churches that don't get involved with that. They stay away from it. But some churches, especially the black Protestant church, especially them Baptists, those that call themselves Pentecostals, apostolics, you're all involved. You're all involved. And that preacher that was speaking not too long ago in that video, and I seen what, and I'm subscribed under that dude that had that video. I'm going to expose that video, and I'm gonna expose that fucking preacher, cause don't nobody talk about the LGBT community and gonna get away with it. Don't nobody get away with that. Let me tell you something. When I was in fucking prison, they used to shake us down all the time, especially when I came onto the fucking compound. They were shaking down the prison cells. They were going through everything. And there was one particular day, they went into my locker. And my locker had, you know, literature from a certain street organization. It had the symbols ordered. 5-point symbol, the little eye showing, the crown above it, you know, and the initials of that signature. Don't you know, when I go, if I was to ever go back to prison again, I would be labeled under that. I would not even hit the compound. They will put me in segregation. They will put me in the shoe program again. See, everything is fixed for me to go back to the fucking shoe program. I ain't never going back to the shoe program again. As long as I live, as long as I can help it. Shout out to the chat. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Not at all. But I'm going to speak my fucking truth. And I'm going to tell the truth about KB. I'm going to tell the truth about KB is Kwame Brown. I'm going to tell the truth about his zombie nation. I'm going to tell the truth about the people that support them. Because they all need to get out of here. Off these YouTube streets. Off these YouTubes. And shout out to my subscribers, my support team. I'm looking for new moderators right now. I don't even need to look so far. If they want to be a part of being a part of what I'm doing, fine. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But I'm going to tell the truth as far as I know it. As far as I know it. And I said my appointment was at 10. It's really 1. I had to call and reconfirm. But I'm just letting everybody know. I don't agree with none of what these churches are talking about. The same churches up there talking against the LGBT community were the same ones that want the money from the LGBT. Yeah, they were the same ones. And when they got the money and the LGBT, yeah, because they have meetings with each other, the church and the gay community. They do. They have these meetings. It'd be fiery meetings, but they have them. Be community meetings, and they have them in certain places all over the country, especially in New York, especially in California. Yeah. Now it's coming down here to certain places in the South. It is what it is. I'm out of here. I thank everyone for coming over, coming into my chat, and showing yourself so beautiful. Crip and Bloods unite. What's up, Blood? New York Crips and Bloods. New York Crips and Bloods. All right, all right. Shout out to y'all. And thank you for coming in. Thank anyone for coming in. Thank my ghost watchers, anybody for coming in. And some people are afraid to come in because they don't want the conversation to go on about the church. They don't want that. They are afraid. Why are you so afraid of the church? Because any money that you put into the church, at the end of the day, when you get into trouble, the church is not going to bail you out. They're not going to loan you no money. They're not going to help you. They might give you $25, and that's it. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. I'm exposing about the church and how they get down. Now, if anybody want to come up here and hit the link, they can. They can. We got a few minutes. Give me 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm back. I had to take a little bathroom break. I don't have a moderator over here that can carry on conversation, but anybody would have hit the link, they would have been able to carry on the conversation. But I'm good. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. I hope all of you have an awesome day. Shout out to you. But at the end of the day, is anyone going to remember us? The only way that anybody's going to really remember us are we on video. How long that going to last? Maybe 5 years? I don't know. It's not going to last no future. And people actually dig up the truth. I want people to dig up the truth about American history. I want people to dig up the truth about the civil rights movement. I want people to dig up the truth, how these different religious organizations feel about us. Because I don't think they feel very great about those of us that are part of the LGBTQ community. And some of us actually slip into other organizations. Trust me, I know plenty of dudes that are part of different organizations, street organizations, that are a part of the LGBTQ community. They're the same thing as the pastors, but at least we know what those street dudes are doing. We don't know what these pastors are doing, but I'm going to start exposing all the pastors. Every chance I get, I'm going to expose you. You talk against us, I'm going to expose you why you're doing it. Why you're doing it. Because there was one particular pastor. Everybody know who he is. Everybody. And I'm going to expose that. And I'm going to expose the fact that other bishops and other pastors and other reverends knew about that man and they did nothing. Nothing about it. People try to judge me for being a part of the LGBTQ community, the gay community. Let me tell you something. You better look up that song, Jesus Dropped the Charges. The two twin brothers, black twin brothers, that sung that song a couple of years ago. Jesus dropped the charges. So who the fuck are you to judge me? I'm out of here.